Cherry eye is a relatively common condition that we see mainly in dogs, although it can affect some cats too, and it tends to be a condition of younger dogs. So we tend to see this problem kind of before about a year of age, and there are certain breeds that seem to be more prone to it. So certain types of spaniel, the bulldog, they can all get this breed quite young because there's a hereditary component to it. Now, as you may or may not be aware, all of our cats and dog friends have got third eyelids. So they have the upper and two lower ones like we do, but they also have a third one that comes out from underneath. And in the condition cherry eye, what happens is that there's a little tear gland that's located within that third eyelid that can become prolapsed and swollen. And actually we had a dog in recently, and you can see here that obviously one side is normal with the third eyelid, and the other one you've got that gland that's everted and really swollen. And obviously there's a clear problem there. Now, it's not, as people might think, just a cosmetic condition. There can be real side effects and complications that are associated with this, because the function of that gland is to produce some of the tears that help to lubricate the eye. So if you were to leave this condition untreated long term, then there's a very real chance that that gland could become damaged. And similarly, a lot of the older school vets, a really old technique that used to be used, that you would just remove that gland rather than trying to replace it. And again, in those dogs, what would happen is that they would go on to get a problem with the tear production in the eye. Now, it's not every dog that would get that, but there is a much higher percentage of dogs that will get a tear problem if you either leave that gland out or try and just surgically remove it. And they'll now get a condition called dry eye, and that's when they're not producing enough tears, the eye's prone to recurrent conjunctivitis, and actually, more worryingly, every time the dog blinks, it can rub on the surface of the eye and cause real damage, and you can end up with really nasty, painful ulcers and a blind eye that at the end of all the treatment might require, removing enucleation. Now, dry eye is also treatable like cherry eye is, but dry eye treatment is for life, and you're talking about a lot of drops multiple times a day. And although cherry eye surgery can be expensive, compared to that lifelong medication for dry eye, and which is a more uncomfortable, painful condition too, it's definitely the way I would recommend that you go, because most cherry eye surgeries are around about £200 to £600, something like that, depending on your vets and the degree of specialism that they might have with regards to eyes. So we did a surgery here at the clinic recently. We've done quite a few. Basically what you want to try and do is you create a little pocket within that third eyelid, and then you suture the gland back inside that pocket. And usually it heals up fine. There is a small chance that it might pop back out again and require a second surgery, but usually after about a week or so, all that swelling goes down and the eye goes back to normal, and nothing further will be required for the duration of that dog's life. So that's how we would recommend that you treat cherry eye here at the clinic.